If you want to quit your teaching job and start a preschool instead, listen to today's Preschool All Stars story. Karisa Day was a certified K-8 teacher who had a long commute and was burned out with the demands of the district. After being moved to a new grade level the day before school started, she decided she needed to do something where she would be in control. Starting a preschool was the perfect solution for her. Listen in to discover how you can quit your teaching job and start a preschool, too.
Hello, all, and welcome to the Preschool All Stars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I am joined today by Karisa Day. How are you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah, before we hear your story, I wanted to get a little background of your life before you started to open a school.
Yeah. So I live in Meridian, Idaho, and I was the certified teacher, K through 8, and I taught in a town that was about 45 minutes away from where I lived.
Okay.
So my commute was super fun every day, where I was already away from my family, 8 to 10 hour days, just teaching. And then on top of that, having an hour and a half in my car. So I did that for 5 years, and I love teaching. And there was just some things that just broke me a little bit, like being away from my family. And there was certain things that I was having to teach that I didn't agree with, but being in a public school system, you've got to do what is required of you.
Yeah.
So my last year there, I was forced to move over to the middle school because I was the only one qualified to teach middle school. And it was like the day before we started school, they asked me to move. And I was like,
schools do that all the time.
I was like, okay, well, sure, I'll try it. Like, it was my previous students. I'm like, it can't be that bad.
Okay. Yeah.
It was my worst teaching experience of my life. And that was kind of my last straw. Look, okay, this is it. I'm done. What can I do? So in April 2018, I started to look into some options. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to stay home with my kids, but I can't just cut my income completely.
Right.
So what can I do? Okay, I can start a daycare. Those are easy, right? Just start a home daycare. But I love teaching, and I didn't want that to like go away. So I definitely wanted to incorporate some preschool strategies and different teaching with the older kids in there. And that is when I found Start a Preschool. And I was like, it like just blew my mind. I couldn't even believe that you could start in a home preschool. So I started looking more into that, and that is how I got started.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I know what you mean with the school. I was a teacher too. And it's like, I've seen that happen so many times where they just move people like the day before school starts. And they're like, you're going to teach a whole nother grade and a whole nother subject. And you're just expected to do it. And it's awful.
Yes.
After you set up your room, after you spend time getting lesson plans, and then just scratch it all. Who cares about all that time and effort? Yeah.
Yes.
Totally get that. Okay. So you found joy.
Yes.
And what happened from there?
So I started looking more into like the startofpreschool.com, and this was back in 2008. So that was only 3 years ago. But oh my gosh, joy has like exploded again.
Yeah.
Like the last couple of years. So this was kind of before all that. So I've got to watch her do all that. So that's super cool. Anyway, so I started looking into that. I'm like, wow, like I could do that and work less hours than I am being a teacher, and definitely less hours than I would be if I was doing daycare.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try that because I felt like starting a daycare, all I was doing was shifting the problem to something else. It's like, I was already teaching 12 hours a day and away from my family. Well, let me shift that 12 hours a day to just being home and still not really being with my family.
And babysitting.
Yes. And so I didn't want to do that. So I was looking into that more and more. And I bought Preschool in a Box. And that same week, I put my notice in that I wasn't coming back for the next year. And it was like a huge leap of faith. But I was just like, I can do this. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So I put my notice in. And I bought Preschool in a Box, and that was like the best step for me, just because I'm a certified teacher, so I know how to be a teacher, but I've never ran a business.
Right.
So that was like a huge help for me because I didn't know the business side. I didn't know all the licensing that I needed to have for my house, and I didn't know that all of the training and all of this and that, that I needed to make sure that I was certified and that I was safe opening my home business. So Joy's Preschool in a Box helped a ton with that, with all the forms and all of the training. It was just so much less that I had to go and do research on and had to find out on my own, and make sure that I was compliant with my city in order to start my own business. It was helpful. And Joy is actually from my state. And so that was even better for me because she already knew everything I needed to have, because she's been there and she did that. So that was huge for me. So then I opened my preschool in August 2018.
Nice. Okay. And so what was your first step like? What was your first sign up like? Did it come quickly?
Not
what kind of marketing
really.
did you do?
So I did ton of Facebook marketing, and then I tried to use my son, he was 2 at the time, all of his little activities. So he went to gymnastics, so I marketed there. And he went to swim lessons and I marketed there. And I would say that Facebook was probably my best marketing at that point. I just went on and joined a bunch of like the local mom groups. And that was super helpful. And then all of my teacher friends were helpful in like sharing my flyers or sharing my posts on Facebook. So that was the biggest. And it didn't come like right away. Like I started marketing and I started pushing around May, June. And I don't think I started getting students till like late July, early August. And I was supposed to start school in August. And I was a little worried. But Joy has said that parents are procrastinators and they wait until they're like, oh, school stuff's coming out. I better figure out if my kid's going to go to school this year.
Yeah.
So August was when I got a ton more enrollments. I think it was because of that, because parents are starting to think, oh yeah, I guess I better get my kid into preschool. What are some preschools around? And then just every year it's gotten more. I've gotten more enrollments. I've gotten more students. And I think it's just the word of mouth definitely helps get those students. So marketing was the hardest for me, I think, getting started. But every year it's the easiest part to keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Those Facebook mom groups are like gold.
Yes. And I would go on there weekly and just do in the search bar. I would just type in preschool. Yeah. And I would see what moms are asking for recommendations for preschool. And then I just reach out to them. And I think that helps because it's a little more personal, reaching out to those moms that are actively looking.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always like scouring the moms groups. And every time I see does anyone have any good recommendations for Facebook groups? I'm like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, us.
Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So what's the setup of your preschool now?
So my preschool is in a bonus room in my house. So, it originally was my husband's game room and I I kicked him out.
Yep.
And then so it's kind of like an extended part of my garage, I think is how it started, but it's not too big. It's like 11 by 15 area. So I have 6 students usually in here, for that space. But we're in my preschool right now, but I have, different like areas. Like I have like a library area. We have a sensory bin that we use, a lot. We usually change it like weekly and it has like kinesthetic learning. And I changed it to a light table this year. So we kind of swap between those. I've been thinking
about getting a light table.
Oh, just change your sensory bin. Yeah. It's super easy. Yeah.
What did you do? Okay. Because I have a sensory bin that I change out. What do I got to do to make a light table?
So I got like the IKEA sensory bin where it's just like a table and it has those deep bins. I like the deep ones because it helps contain some of the mess.
Yeah.
So for the light table, I just got the shorter bins. And then I put, it's like aluminum foil tape. It's like duct tape. And you put it inside and layer like the bin. And then you just put some of those rope lights inside. And the aluminum helps to like spread the light around. So it's not just so stark, like in the kid's face. Oh. And then I just got some plexiglass and I had it cut to my bins and I frosted it with some frosted glass paint.
Yeah.
And voila.
Oh my gosh.
Light table. And it was like $20 versus
because I've been looking at light tables and they were so expensive and I haven't pulled the trigger yet. So I'm so glad that I'm going to do that.
Yeah, it's super fun. The kids really enjoy it, and they love doing able to just like turn the lights off in the preschool because it's something we don't normally do. So that makes it even more exciting.
Yeah.
We also have like an art area, and we have like a dramatic play area. It's usually like kitchen, something like that we usually play with. And then we have like kind of our storage area where we have like our blocks and our magnet tiles and our reading supplies and writing supplies. And then we have our table.
Nice. Yeah. So do you do like centers? They rotate centers?
We do. So at the beginning of the year, we do a lot of like introducing the centers. So we'll introduce like one center and we'll do it as a group, just so that we can learn how to use the center, how to put the center away. And then as the year goes on, we just kind of add more and more. And I'm a big believer on personalized learning. So I love to use centers for that. So I try to personalize the centers for what the student needs, as well as rotate myself as a center so that I can work on that student, what they personally need. Yeah. So that's how I use centers, is just to be able to like rotate that. So we usually have like block centers, or we'll have like a writing center, depending on where the kid's at. We do a lot of like fine motor centers, like snapping beads together, using tweezers to pick up items, just trying to get their hand strength ready. Sometimes we'll do like a cutting center, and I usually try to have that one close by just for safety reasons. And then we use like the sensory bin, or we use the magnet tiles to build different things, and it just keeps the kiddos engaged and busy because they only have an attention span for so long. So it's nice to just kind of give them a center, work on that. Let's rotate every 5 minutes or so.
Right. So, I struggle with the implementation of centers because I have everything in my room set up as a center, but like every year I'm like, I'm going to spend so much time. Like I struggle with this in elementary school too. And now I'm struggling with preschool. It's like, I'm going to spend so much time introducing the center so it'll all be good. And then I roll it out too fast, and I never like ends up as strong as I wanted to.
Right. It's tricky. And I think I have a huge advantage just because I only have max 6 kids.
Right. So yeah, me too. I have helpful. 6 kids in each class, and I made like a chart so they can pick what center they go to, and I have a timer, but it's like the cleanup process of it never gets done correctly. And then, and then I'm like into the year, and I'm like, well, now I feel weird, like going back and saying, no, we're starting with one center now, Yes. And then it's something I struggle with.
Yes. So I like centers. We just introduce them slowly, and then like I kind of feel like I'm in the middle of the room. I sit in the middle of the room, and I have like kids at centers like all around me, so that all of them are kind of within arm's reach, so that I can manage it that way. So I don't know if that's helpful, but that's kind of what I do.
I've
try
been
to keep them within arm's reach.
So much stuff this year, like pre-K pages for like all these different things. And I'm like, I'm like trying to read books. I'm like, I got to get my centers together because I like love my centers. I have so many centers that I like enjoy, but I just feel like I can't get myself together to like utilize them to the best of, how they should be. Always learning, always learning.
Yes.
So you are licensed. Is it like, in Idaho, is it like a family care? Like daycare license?
Yes. So there is no such thing as like a preschool license in Idaho. So I just got the daycare license. I figured that was the next best thing because it requires your background check and your permit and fire safety. And there's training that goes with it. CPR training. I feel like all of those things you would need to be a successful preschool. So the daycare was the next best thing. And it provides my families like some security that I've gone through these steps to make sure that I'm licensed and I'm not just some, mom at home taking your kids in. So
absolutely. Yeah. That's the same way it is in Nevada. The licensing process was kind of a lot to get started. And I didn't I literally, because of COVID, when I opened, I didn't have my license until the week before I opened. And I was like, cutting it real close because I'd been advertising as a licensed preschool.
Yes, me too. And I'm actually to the point now where I am renewing. So I'm in all of my like renewal, trainings and my renewal CPR and all that stuff. So I just recently had to get all that done because I'm in my 3rd year.
It's a lot. Yeah. But I think it's worth it to be licensed. It makes you more legit. Definitely.
Right. And I think initially it's a lot of work, but the renewal is not as much. There's not as many things that you have to do, and they're not all at once. So they kind of space them out so that you do like one thing 1 month, one thing another. So it's a little easier that way.
Yeah. I've just started my like ongoing training requirement thing so I can get it done, because I'm normally the person who waits until the very last minute to get it done. And I'm like trying not to do that now.
Yes.
Okay. So how many classes do you teach, and what's your schedule like?
So this year it's a little different because of COVID. So I actually have a couple students that graduated pre-K last year, and they came back to me for kindergarten.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So their parents didn't want them to go to public school and their first like public school experience to be the way it is now.
Right.
So my classes are a little different now, and they're going to be a little different next year. So what I've usually had is I take kids 2 to 5. So I have like a preschool class with kiddos that are like 2 to 3 years old. And Joy suggested like not doing the whole potty training requirement. So I don't do that. And I've gotten more signups, I think, because of that. So I have
so they don't have to be potty trained, or they do?
No, they don't.
Okay.
Right. Because I take down to 2.
Yeah.
And I don't expect 2-year-olds to be potty trained.
Yeah, that's
so. Yeah. I think that helps, and it just gives the kiddos a little social time and
right. So then, do you have like a diaper changing area in the room?
It's like right outside my door. Okay. So it's not like in my room, because I only had like 1 or 2 kids that were not potty trained at my school at all times. So it's just like right outside my door. And it's like a pad. And so I just lay it right there. And
okay. And so are the 2-year-olds in the same room in the same class as the 5-year-olds? Or do you split them up?
Nope. Okay. I only do. So I have classes that's 2 to 3, and that's it.
Okay.
I feel like they play better. Yeah. That my curriculum can be developmentally better if I only have like the same age groups. So I have 2 to 3, and then I have a class of 3 to 4s. And then I have a class that's like 4, 5, 6.
Okay.
I have some kinders.
Okay. And how long are your classes? What's the like schedule? How many days a week? How's it go?
So I do only 4 days a week. So I do classes Mondays and Wednesdays, and Tuesdays and Thursdays. And my Wednesdays are from 9 to 11:30. And then my afternoon classes are from 12:30 to 3.
Okay.
So, and I really enjoy having the Fridays off.
Yeah.
When I was doing research, I did not find that having the Friday class was as cost beneficial to me. From what I researched, it was like $20 more a month to have a whole extra class. And that just didn't seem worth it to me, because I like using Fridays for my kids.
Yeah.
My kids have their gymnastics and their time with mom on Fridays. So I enjoy having that day off.
Yes. I gave myself Fridays off too. And like, when I was first opening, I'm like, maybe I should just do Fridays too. My husband's like, don't do it. No, stick to your guns. And I'm so glad I did, because having that extra day is so key. Although I think now that I'm going to hire someone, I think I might go to 5 days, and then I'll still only teach 2 days and they can teach 3 days. I think that's what I'm going to try and do. Hoping that the Fridays will be worth it. Now that you say that, I guess I have to do more research into Fridays.
Yeah. And next year is going to be super. I'm actually going to start private kindergarten next year.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. I am excited, because I had those kids that were here this year, and I really enjoyed that class. And so I think there's a market now for private kinder with the way that things are. So I'm going to so right now my afternoon classes are 4 days a week. And so I'm just going to change that to a kinder class, and I'm extending it like an extra half hour. So it's going to be just kindergarten. So I'll have 1 preschool for my 2 to 3s, 1 pre-K for 3 to 4s, and then kindergarten.
Nice.
So I'm excited to have like such different classes.
Yeah, totally. So will those kindergartners come 4 days a week? Yes. Or will you still have 2 different classes of it?
They'll come 4 days a week. Okay. They come 4 days a week right now.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Like my afternoon is pre-K, K blend. And they come 4 days a week. Okay. So, and I think that consistency is a good transition when they go to like public school.
Yeah, totally. Well, that's awesome. That's exciting. Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, one of my next questions was, what are your big plans for your big, future plans? So I guess that's one of them.
Yes, private kindergarten. And I'm super excited because I get to charge like $100 more a month to do private kinder per kid.
Yeah.
Because in my state, just having kids go to like a full day kindergarten, they have to pay $300 a month. And so I'm
really?
just going
For
to
the
charge
public
I'm going to charge $350
Hmm.
for mine. And we do the free field trips. We actually do more. We do monthly. So I do a
Cool.
monthly field trip with kids.
Cool.
And then I think we're also going to have like an extended, like one Friday a month that we're going to do. We're going to bring in like special guests, like music teachers, art teachers, gardeners, things like that. Just have like an enrichment Friday once a month. So I don't know. I'm just super excited to have like something new for next year that will benefit a bunch of my community.
Yeah, totally. Lots of possibilities there. So another question, because you mentioned that, and I've been thinking about this, especially for next year, because I feel like I kind of, with COVID, we didn't really do field trips, but my whole plan was to do field trips. So when you do field trips with them, do you do it class by class, or do you all go at one time?
We all go at one time.
Okay.
And I love it because then kids get to see other students from other classes.
Yeah.
And same with parents. They get to meet the other parents. And it just creates more of a sense of community. Like we are part of this school. And I love being able to see them all. And my parents come to my field trips. So they're kind of in charge of their kid.
Okay.
So it helps a ton when supervising and things like that. I do have a couple parents that drop them off. Yeah. And it's usually like one or two. So they just hang out with me and we do the field trip and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And do you do it during school hours, during like one of the classes, or do you do it outside of school hours, like on a Friday?
We do it on Fridays.
Okay.
Yep. So that Friday we do. So the second Friday every month is when we have a field trip day. And it's usually in the mornings so that I can accommodate those 2-year-olds that usually nap in the afternoons.
Yeah.
So,
and what kind of places do you go to?
We usually go, this year has been really hard trying to schedule field trips because nobody wants us, but we have persevered and we have figured it out. But we usually go to like the zoo, the pumpkin patch. We have gone to like a dental office.
Okay.
We've gone to like a pizza place and they let kids make their own pizzas. Cool. We go to like Krispy Kreme and watch them make donuts and then they get a free donut. Nice. We went ice skating this year, so that was super fun. Awesome. We're going to go to my son's local gymnastics, which that's free. Like if you go to those places and you're saying, hey, do you do a field trip? It's marketing for them. So they're like, oh yeah, we'll have you guys because that's just marketing for them and it's free. Perfect. So not all of my field trips are free for me, but they're all free for my students. Okay. So I upped my tuition this year to make sure that my kids could have free field trips. But some of them are free for me and some of them are not. Yeah. So, like going to the pumpkin patch, I think was like $5 a kid, which is fine. I upped my tuition $15 a month from last year. So that helps. And what else have we done? We've gone to like a farm to see like animals and things like that. And we usually go to like the aquarium. So we're busy. Yeah. Fire station. We always go to the fire station, but this year they're not. So we'll see what this year brings.
That's awesome. You're giving me some great ideas because I've been really, because like I wanted that. There were so many things when I opened that I wanted to offer, like parent nights and field trips and all this stuff. And then I feel like we haven't been able to with COVID, but like next year.
I think your first year it's tricky too, just kind of laying your foundation and figuring out what will work and what will not. So
right.
That first year is a lot of trial and error.
Absolutely. Which is why, bringing me to my next point, I love the All Stars and talking to people like you who've already done this. Yay. So I can hear all your fabulous ideas.
Right.
So tell us about how the All Stars had helped you on your journey.
So I'm actually one of the founding members of All Stars. So that's super cool. Like I said, I watched Joy in the last 3 years just like blossom and just like helped so many people. So I feel very grateful to be able to see that and watch her accomplish those things. So I like All Stars just because I feel like we're all in it to win, right? We're all in there together. We all have the same goal. And there's a bunch of us that have been there and we've done that. Or like you new people, you guys are coming in and learning all these new things from Joy that maybe we haven't learned yet. Right. And so you guys can also share with us. So it's not just like a one-way street. There's definitely, everybody's got some sort of expertise and that's what they're bringing to the group. And we all have questions. We all need somebody's guidance, somebody's help, somebody's question. And a lot of times Joy is on there and she's answering them for you or directing you where you can find the answer to that question. Or there's like 10 other moms or teachers that are also answering your question.
Yeah.
So I love that, like, we don't have to go and do a ton of research or stress over some predicament that we have. We can just go to this group of people that have the knowledge and kind of get perspective, because we're all teachers and we all need that collaboration. Yeah. Even though I feel like me being at home, I don't get that collaboration from like my co-teachers because it's just me. Mm-hmm. So my All Stars are like kind of my co-teachers. They're people that I get to go to for that collaboration, for that assistance if I need it.
Absolutely. Yes. Agreed. I was just saying how like I kind of miss having coworkers to bounce things off of, but you're right. I mean, I now just go to the All Stars. There we go. Right. They filled that role.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, let's see. We've talked about your future plans, and what about for if women are just getting started? I always like to ask this question. Women who are just thinking about getting started and haven't quite made the plunge yet. What would you say to them?
I would say, don't wait. I feel like the longer you wait, the more you give yourself time to think, well, I can't do this. Or what about this? What about that? It was so much easier than I thought it was going to be. And, you know, I had people in my life that were like, you can't start a preschool. You can't just have a successful preschool and just quit your job.
Leave your job.
But you know what? I'm the kind of person that's like, watch me do it. Mm-hmm. So I feel like the longer you wait, the more you may allow those type of people to like corrupt your dream. Yeah. And I think that anybody can do this. Like, it's so simple. Like, if you just do what Joy tells you to do, you can't not succeed. Like, unless you are purposely sabotaging yourself, you cannot not succeed, because she gives you everything. And I'm always like amazed how much Joy gives us. Like, it's not even that, like, she gives you advice and curriculum and forms, like, all the time. She's given me stuff over the years for free. She's just like, hey, I made this. You might need it. Here you go. And I'm amazed. Like, even in March when COVID happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? Like, my school's shutting down. The schools are shutting down. What do I do? Well, Joy is always like 10 steps ahead of us.
Yep.
And she already had it. So yeah. So I converted my entire preschool to online. Every one of my students went online.
Wow.
And I still have online. So I have like both happening, because I had some students that couldn't come back, and then I got new students. So I'm just doing both. And I would not have even thought that like you could have an online preschool. Like, that just blows my mind, because I know teachers that are teaching online with like middle schoolers, and it's not successful.
I know.
But you know what? My preschool that's online is successful, and my kids are learning and they love it.
Yeah.
And I probably would have just said, well, school's closed for the year.
Yeah.
But Joy helped me figure it out. So, I just feel like if you just do what Joy says and you just take the leap of faith, like, you will be successful.
Yeah.
Cause she's been there. She's done that. She follows and collaborates with so many people that have also has so much expertise, and she always relays that information back to us. So I feel, I always feel like my business, my life is safe in her hands, because she has our best interests. So
yeah, absolutely. Agreed with all of that. Well, thank you so much, Karisa. This was great talking to you. I've gotten some great advice. I'm going to go make my light table and think about field trips.
Yes. It'll be so fun. I just love adding those special things to our preschool, because
when the kids walk in, they're like, oh, what's this? Something new.
Yes.
So exciting.
Yeah. And anything that you can do to set yourself apart from like the normal preschools around just makes you stand up so much more.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. Thank you so much for talking to us. And I wish you all the best of luck in your new kindergarten program next year.
Thank you.
Everything else you decide to do. I'm sure it will be awesome.
Thanks so much.
Of course. You have a great day. Thanks for talking. Bye.
If you'd like to have a success story just like that one, I invite you to join our Preschool All Stars. It's my exclusive membership community where you'll get mentorship from me with weekly Q&A lives, support and guidance, and friendship from hundreds of women on the exact same journey as you, starting, running, and growing their preschools, and my exclusive access to Preschool University, every training and done-for-you file that you'll need for every milestone on your journey to help you start, run, and grow your preschool. We've all been there, and we've got the exact same steps that you need to go through, but we do it all very quickly so that you don't have to waste time or money doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We'd love for you to join our Preschool All Stars membership. Just go to preschoolallstars.com or click the link in the description to immediately jump into Preschool All Stars. Again, go to preschoolallstars.com and we'll see you there.